My head hurts, not from physical, but constant visuals. So my mind works, sensing situations is critical. So my self-worth at all times is pivotal. Regardless of the group you pray with for the spiritual. PTSD, how can I? Got my hands and feet. But mostly the injuries from things that's seen. Cracks under the surface, he came back a different person. That smile hides the pain of what makes it all worth it. Real strength lies in help because the alternative. Self-medication, alienating relationships leads to a deadly place. So let's start the show with this. Signing on, Tripp.
Hi, I'm Joe.
And I'm Lauren.
And we are
the NeuroNerds. Yes, that was on time.
I feel pretty good about that.
NeuroNerds.
All right, welcome to the NeuroNerds. And I have a very special guest today because my
Yes.
co-host Lauren is being amazing, traveling the world. I think she might be on her way home by the time this comes out. I'm not 100% sure, but Lauren's being amazing in Spain. I have, for this very special Memorial's Day episode, veteran. I can say veteran now, right?
Yes.
Veteran.
Yes.
We really appreciate your service. Incredible artist. My friend, my man, huge comic nerd as well, Tripp Denom.
Hey.
Oh, and
Thank you.
He's got that sultry.
Thank you for having me.
Sultry
for having me.
70s soul DJ voice.
Yes. Yes, I've been working on this, you know.
So Tripp is one of my favorite people because Tripp is like, I had one of the most epic comic book nerd conversations with you. It felt good in my soul. And you actually schooled me on a lot of Black comic books that I didn't know existed.
Yes.
Like
it does though.
It
when
does.
when you have a good what I call comic world intelligent conversation with another comic fan, it does something to you. So
it brings us together as people.
it does.
Not
Note to say, not to disrespect any of the MCU fans or those who are just acquainted based solely upon these films.
Right.
Because there's so many things that are wrong.
It's a difference that I hear all the time from Harry Potter fans, where it's like, oh, you really like the movies. Yeah, the movies were cool. They're nothing like the books. The books go into so much more detail. So Felice now is re-listening. She's listening to the books, like book on tape.
Okay.
She's like, I don't have time to read these things. It's like almost 2 days worth of book. So she's listening to them, and I was listening to some of the stuff, the detail they go into. There's so many characters that didn't even make the movie. And I think the comics are like that. The comics, it's like you kind of get the gist. It's almost like the cliff notes of the comic book itself. So if you're actually a comic book reader, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, if you're just a fan of the films, check out the comics. Like, check out the source material. It's amazing.
Yeah. But, have a guide. Have a guide. And feel free to talk to the, young men and young women, or older men, older women at the comic store, because you can get lost in some of these characters. There's so many different storylines, so many things that are canon, not canon. And I'm sounding nerdish right now.
Oh, yeah.
But I love it. But just, you don't feel bombarded.
No, because you
easily can.
Easily, because you're going to go there. It's like, oh my God, there is just so much. So what you need is your Obi-Wan. You need your Yoda.
Yes.
You need somebody to guide you through the stuff. So that's what Tripp was for me. We were just talking about comic books, and then we were talking about, so you guys can't see because this is a podcast, Tripp is a Black man.
Yes.
And we were talking about, Black men being represented in comic books. I was like, yeah, well, there's Blade, there's Spawn, there's Falcon. That's about it.
And shout out to Falcon, which he gets a bad rap. He does.
He has. I'll tell you where it started.
Where did it start?
It started in his comic book outfit. He looked like a wrestler.
Yeah,
it's almost like it's like a onesie unitard thing.
But they did that, and here's the cool thing about Falcon. For those who don't know, he is the first African American superhero.
Was he the first?
Know what I said? Y'all pay attention. First African American superhero. Black Panther came out previously and before. However, he is African. He is from Wakanda.
Oh, right.
Falcon is the first Black American superhero.
Was Falcon before Luke Cage?
Yes.
Wow.
Which you can kind of see the fashion sense. which is similar, of how black characters were done at that time. But it was a play on the black exploitation films and things from that time.
It absolutely was. He actually looked like he was getting ready to go into Studio 54. Falcon with that outfit.
Yeah, exactly.
And Luke Cage was following.
And Luke Cage was his hype man. Right. But yeah, this like little things like that. And for the most recent movie Endgame, there was a little bit of a tick with some people like, oh man, how come he gave him the shield and not Bucky? I'm like, well, you read the comic books. He had the shield for a while and did quite a good job.
That was my issue. Was it seemed rushed in the movies?
Yeah,
it seemed rushed. Yeah. So the people that don't understand that, this was this whole story arc that went on for a while. And Captain Falcon.
Yes,
Captain Falcon America. I don't know, how would you say that? He was dope. Actually, visually, I love the way he looked on the comic page.
Right.
With the updated outfit, the armor, the shield. I was like, yeah, that looks really, really cool. I actually really like the way that Bucky looks. The Winter Soldier with the Captain America shield. That looked actually really cool too. But in the movies, it just kind of seemed like, all right, so you have your homie, you got Bucky, you got this dude, a man lost in time, just like you, and then you bounce and you live your life, and he's just like a second later, he's like, oh, the only person that really understood what I was going through is now 1,000,000 years old. So I felt bad for him, and then he's like, oh yeah, and then the mantle of Captain America is being handed off to this dude who you just kind of like hung out with for a little while.
Yeah,
I think that's where a lot of the issues come in. But if you actually know the source material, it makes a lot of sense.
And I think that it's the cinematic universe, so we only get to see certain portions. So I'm gonna assume there was an implied deeper relationship
than him just like showing up and hanging out and going for a jog.
Yeah, I'm assuming it was more, I think more militaristic, more camaraderie bonding, because they both spent a lot of time in S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh yeah.
So he's looking at him like that's captain, that's the commander. So
you know what's funny about that? I had a conversation last night.
Mm-hmm.
I went to see the play Brain Problems.
Okay.
And I met a couple of survivors there, a couple of brain injury survivors. And not unlike the military. Now I'm not comparing like what we're going through like military, but like I hear a lot from military people is like, yeah, you can spot another military person in a room.
Oh yeah.
Like you can see, oh yeah, that dude has been this, or this woman has been that. Like you can kind of see it. You can see it in the way that they move, the way that they interact. Like you just see it. As a brain injury survivor, I'm kind of the same. Like I can kind of see like, oh yeah, there's now it sounds weird. Yeah. It's like, oh
yeah, I'm like, what are the?
It's like there's something wrong with you, but no. Like it might just be like a mental thing. Not that like we're bonded like Professor X or anything. But like I could just like see the way
frequencies.
Like the interactions. I could see like the discomfort. I can see how they're reacting to noises around the room, the lights, the stimulation. And now most of the time, it's been a brain injury. Other times it's just like, well, I suffer from really bad anxiety,
Right.
But a lot of times I'm like, oh, so start talking to them, try to like pick their brain. It's like, oh, you had a concussion. Or, oh, you survived a stroke, and you just start getting into these conversations. It's like, oh, yeah, we're kin. So in talking to some people last night, it was like, oh, we immediately became family. We felt like we knew each other for years, and we just met.
I think a good reason for that is like in the military, you from the beginning, you're taken away from everything comfortable, and you're forced into this situation with a bunch of strangers. So you're just kind of forced to make friends a lot sooner and build bonds a lot sooner. And then you add on to that, you go overseas with these same people, and it kind of becomes family. And then, when you're out and about and you kind of go to another place and it's full of people, and you kind of see the way someone's standing, or maybe how their haircut is, or, their posture. You're like, oh, okay, it's military people. And then you have that common language, that common commonality of things you can talk about that everybody else don't really know about.
Right.
And you kind of come together a little bit.
Man, that was a conversation last night. Like we showed up, and it's funny because like with me, it's almost the same things. It's the way that you carry yourself. But like I notice a lot of people, I wear my headphones constantly, like 24 hours a day. Like I have them in just to block out the background noise. And a lot of people that wear sunglasses indoors, it's not necessarily because they're arrogant. A lot of people are. We do live in LA.
Right.
But a lot of the people who aren't, where you can see it's like, oh no, you're not trying to shine right now. You're trying to hide.
Exactly.
And it's like, oh, those are the people that I'm drawn to, because I'm like, oh, you're going through what I'm going through. And the conversation we had last night immediately. So I just met one of these survivors. It's the first time I'm meeting her. So actually the first real conversation I'm having with her, and we're talking about the deepest things. We're talking about how to function as a person. We're talking about how close we were to death. We're talking about how we're living in this world now. Kind of like how after Endgame,
right.
They have to go through Captain America was like in this group, like, how do we move on now? It's kind of like that.
It's interesting you say that, because and then you bring up Captain America. He makes total sense as being the military guy in that film. We do the same things. And if you relate that to PTSD, it's almost like when you get together and you start sharing those stories. It's very similar, same thing. Like, hey, yeah, remember, I'm outside, I'm smoking a cigarette, man, mortar blows up, comes in, right there, rocks going everywhere, we got to run, it's like good times, right? Or you're recounting and kind of laughing about in some of the situations, some a little bit more serious about, near-death experiences, or actual death experiences for, some of the people who didn't make it back home. But yeah, it's that, I don't know, something just you bond a lot quicker, and
absolutely
you just slice through the bullshit, and you're kind of just, boom, hey man, this is how I'm doing it. This is how I'm coping. Hey, I'm doing these things, and you're kind of, I don't know, you're willing to kind of listen to and talk to somebody who shared
I think for me it's just beautiful, because this is Stroke Awareness Month, yes, but this is also Mental Health Awareness Month as well. And I think it's just beautiful, and I think it's a need that we all have, to find somebody like us to let us know, hey, it can't just be me. I can't be the only one that's feeling this. And then when you run into somebody, like, it's like, oh wow, you're speaking my language. Like, we get it.
And the mental health issue is large, military wise.
So, I'm sure yourself, or what you've seen with your people, with the PTSD, with the stress, like, I'm sure.
I venture to say, and this is just my own personal theories here, okay, that between a certain time frame, most military members have some form, of PTSD. Especially, I'm speaking for those who've had the pleasure of deploying and visiting our Middle East regions.
Yeah, you're on the ground floor.
And some other places.
You're there. It's not TV. This is in front of you.
Yeah. And just think about that post-traumatic stress disorder and what it actually means. I think a lot of people think that it's you have to have somebody shooting an AK-47 at you. You have to have shit blowing up. No, let's break that down.
That's the stigma.
Traumatic stress. It's an event. You can be here, just at the 7-Eleven and just happen to see a very tragic and bad car accident. That can affect you.
Absolutely.
It's a traumatic event, and you are now having symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder. You don't really realize it. So a lot of military members, I think sometimes too, we don't notice it, right? Because we have that, my situation wasn't as bad as his.
Right. It's comparative. It can't be comparative.
I've got both my legs, I've got both my arms. So what the hell do I have to, really complain about at the moment? Maybe I saw a few uncomfortable things. Maybe I had to do a few uncomfortable things, but I don't have that room to kind of complain because it's not as severe as this person or that person. So that's one thing I would definitely say I've noticed, and I wish had a bigger light. A lot of people, military wise, there's been a long stigma about, will it hurt my career?
Right.
If
that's such a shame.
Come forward, and, I have to admit that I'm going and talking to someone. That
hurts my heart, because I plead with everybody, go see a therapist. Not people who haven't had a stroke, people who haven't been in the military. I think even if you feel 100% fine, why not talk to somebody? Why not just get something out there? Like, let's figure some stuff out, like, let's be better. And it's just a shame that you guys, because you guys are basically Supermen. You guys have to go out there and not have bad days.
More like Batman. right. More like Batman and the Bat Family. We're still regular people.
Yeah, you guys you guys don't have sick days.
Right.
You guys are out there. You guys are on the front line. You guys are like mom and dad, but for the country. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's hard. You carry that weight that, well, I'm having this day or I'm feeling this way, but I can't show that because I have the weight of an entire country on my back.
Yeah,
it's a lot of pressure.
And in military, you have a structure, you have a rank structure, and the higher you get, the more people you're responsible for. So, and I know this gets me, and it got me in a lot of trouble myself throughout my career with my own health. Right, we get older, so then you gotta always have these newer troops come in that are younger, so they're gonna push you, physically, and if you're in a leadership position. I
can't have this kid
from
be
the
better
front,
than me.
Right. We lead from the front. So, a lot of times you'll push yourself a little harder than maybe, you should.
Right.
But you're keeping these things in mind. I say that to bring it to, these are kids. So you're talking about, I'm responsible for this many people. That's somebody's son, that's somebody's daughter, brother, sister, right? So these are large stressors that we have.
Right.
The longer you stay in it, the further up you go, and things to deal with. But it's part of the gig.
It is part of the gig. So with me, I suffer from PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
I had a hard time accepting that for a long time. So I just recently, the most recent episode, I talked to a neuropsychologist, and she actually said a lot of what you're saying. It's a traumatic event. It doesn't necessarily have to be a guy shooting at you.
Right.
It's whatever traumatic event was for you. It's after this traumatic event, it's still with you. It changes you.
Now, is that why you didn't think, or you didn't admit, or like what caused you not to?
So
admit
ignorance.
Okay.
Ignorance. So with me, I hear PTSD. I was like, yeah. As soon as I was told, oh, well, you're suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, I was like, I'm not in the military. It's the first thing I said. I'm not in the military. And then it was explained to me, it was like, you don't have to be in the military. You had an event in your life that was very traumatic that imprinted on you,
Right.
So that's what you're suffering from. So
like a lot of the Vegas survivors, a lot of active shooter situations.
Yeah. Oh my God. I feel horrible for the kids.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? At the schools, I was like, but I was never involved in one of those situations. I mean, I grew up in LA in the 90s.
Right.
I've had a gun pulled on me.
Right.
I've had a knife pulled on me.
That's commonplace depending on where you come from.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I've been in shootings. Not like I'm shooting. I'm not, like, I've been at places that have been shot at.
Right.
That's a lot. That can give somebody PTSD. I never suffered really from any of that. Thank goodness that I never saw anything that terrible, But this situation that happened with me at the hospital, where I talked a little bit about it last week, I'm going to end up doing an episode at some point, but I haven't brought myself to do it yet.
Okay.
Where it explains like the origins of my PTSD, which came from a hospital basically losing me after I had my stroke.
Oh, wow.
So that was a thing.
Wow. Okay. You definitely need an episode on that. Being lost by the hospital.
Yeah. The quick gist is I was at Valley Press. I was doped up on heavy medications because I just had basically brain surgery.
Okay.
My brain was bleeding, so they had to put a shunt in my head to drain my brain, bring swelling down. I was on heavy narcotic medication, Norco.
Oh yeah.
And
okay.
Yeah. Man, that's no joke.
Yeah.
I just wanted to go home. So in the middle of the night, it's 3:00 in the morning. I got up and I was like, I need to go see my girlfriend. And I put clothes on and I left. Nobody at the nursing station.
What?
Yeah, nobody at the nursing station, which was crazy. I had bright yellow bracelets on my wrist that said I was a fall risk because I hadn't walked in 3 weeks. So my muscles were all atrophied. I wandered around the hospital for a little bit, made it out to security, and then security said, I don't remember this. This is secondhand information. That's what he told the cops.
Oh, man.
So he said, what business do you have here? And I was like, oh, I don't have business here. And he said, oh, you got to go. So he sent me out on the street. So I just wandered the streets for like 3-4 hours, hopped up on Norco 3 weeks after a stroke and brain surgery. Yeah. So ever since then, whatever happened, I don't have any memory really of the event. I have maybe 5, maybe 10%. And it's mostly like memento. It's like little pictures.
Like pictures.
That's it. I do have a vivid memory of an alley. And every time I can picture everything. I give you every detail. But every time I think about it, that's like what I suffer night terrors from it.
Okay.
Every time I think of that place, I freak out and I get really uncomfortable. And that's what like I wake up to when I have my night terrors. I don't know what happened, but that's where the stress comes in. It's apparently, in talking to the neuropsychologist, my brain is trying to figure it out. And there's like that blank area.
Right.
So it's trying to figure it out. And that's why I'm freaking out. Like that's
what's causing the anxiety.
Yeah. The mind
put it together.
Yeah. The mind wants to know what happened from A to, like, it wants to know B. It knows C, it knows A. So it's trying to figure out B, and that's where all the anxiety and the stress is coming from.
Man.
Which is crazy. So it's really hard for me to, like, I don't know. I haven't really talked about it because it's weird. Also, perspective. You mentioned earlier, you're like, yeah, then people, like, they have their legs. So what am I complaining about?
Right.
I feel that way. Yeah, it's post-stroke, but look at me. I'm walking. I'm talking. Like, I'm not like a stroke survivor right now. I'm a stroke thriver.
Right.
So it's like,
yeah.
Do I, like, there are people so much worse off, but like these night terrors, this PTSD I'm suffering from is severe. But
Man.
I try not to, like, focus on it because I'm like, yeah, there are people so much worse.
Yeah, and speaking of the dreams, man, I've been to Iraq twice, 2 combat tours. And
yeah, you weren't on vacation.
Yeah, no vacation. No, well, I mean, it's a beautiful place. And that's real. That's reality. I know a lot of people paint it a certain way, but it is a very beautiful place.
It's not just what you see on CNN.
No. I mean, it's some very marvelous architectural structures that are still kind of intact. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing. It's some of the best sunrises I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. Just desert out there, peaceful. But I'll say this on the night terrors, man. When I first came back, and I first went 05, 06, mm-hmm. It wasn't as much of infrastructure, so we were kind of, first getting in. This isn't overly bad, mm-hmm. But it's bad. So I'm at the, the Cache, that's a little hospital. And, I'm going through there, and I happen to, come across this Iraqi security forces guy. Okay. Man, like, this guy, like, literally from the chin down, completely burned. Like, just all the skin gone, right? And, it's hospitals constructed how it is, it's not perfect. Mm-hmm. So you can kind of see things. And, just seeing that sight, man, I'm kind of claustrophobic at times, and there are certain military vehicles, man, that we would ride. And it's like, once you're in them things, the door is like, it's a 2-ton door. You can't open that.
It's like a little tank.
Yeah. You're just in these things, and you're like, man, I hope nothing happens, because it's burned to death in here. That's all that you have to look forward to,
But that in itself, that's trauma.
But that guy,
right.
I to this day, I could probably, if I was a great artist, I could probably draw that guy's face.
It's imprinted on you.
It is there.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, I would have, I would see that guy. I would see nightmares, see a few other things. But it got better over time.
Right.
Definitely I could say now my nightmares are more, about my kids doing something silly.
Yeah. That's definitely a pleasure in comparison.
In that range of things. But, that's another thing I would tell people too, is like, you probably feel, and I know a lot of veterans probably don't feel like there's a better point. Mm-hmm. But it is. Right. It might not seem like it in that year 1, 2, maybe even 5. But if you're actually talking to somebody, and there's a lot of resources, Military One Source, and a lot of good anonymous resources that people can use if you do have that fear of reprisal from your command. Or
it's such a shame that that's a thing, though.
I mean, but it's emphasized now, though. It's emphasized by the commands these days that, we want you to get help. They want you to seek these things out. But it's still kind of
there's still that stigma there. It's going to take.
Do I not?
Yeah, it's going to take probably decades, man. It's kind of like losing weight. You didn't gain the extra 50 pounds. It's not going to disappear in a year. Exactly. You know what I mean? It's going to take some time.
Right.
So like, let's take a time. But yeah, that stigma needs to go away, because we all need to take care of our mental health.
Right.
It's such a big deal.
I mean, and it's cool to talk to somebody.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's cool to talk to somebody. I don't know why that's who made that not cool.
I'll tell you why. With me, Catholic.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was just brought up to not talk to anybody, to not inconvenience anybody. but it's the wrong way. I'm not saying it's the wrong way for everybody, because everybody, you're your own individual person. But overall, I believe that it's best to get it out, because if you internalize it, if you don't process it out, it's not good. You're holding this evil inside of you.
In there.
I did that for 39 years. I almost died because like it forced its way out through a vessel in my brain.
Right. And people tend to self-diagnose.
Absolutely. Right? I did that for years.
We will self-diagnose. We're like, I'm fine. I just have a couple drinks.
Yeah.
And that puts me to sleep.
Exactly.
Okay. No dreams, no nightmares, right?
Exactly. Yeah. You're numbing yourself, you know, and that's why there's a high rate of alcoholism, drug addicts with people with PTSD, because people are just you're trying to numb yourself as opposed to process it out.
Oh, of course.
To be honest, you think it's easier. It's not. It's so much more difficult to go through that, to numb yourself past this, than actually sitting down and talking to somebody.
Yeah. Well, it is. I think, it's a lot cheaper.
Right?
Seriously. It's a lot cheaper. I can definitely go get the 211 from the gas station, get the malt liquor for like, $4. And as I'm not sure, it depends on where you're at, how much your therapist is going to cost.
Right.
So yeah, but even, just somebody to talk to about certain things that you trust, or
even what we're doing right now. This is why I started this podcast. It's to start these conversations. It's to let people know you guys are never alone. There's always somebody. Now, I always say the NeuroNerds are here to help. Like, I mean that. Like, I love for people to reach out to us and for us to help these people. But reach out to somebody. Reach out to a family member, a friend. Right. There are support groups. There's a million of them. Some of them are great, some of them not so great. But you'll figure it out. It's so much better than hurting yourself and being stuck in this place.
Right.
Once I went to therapy, like the first time, I was like, I hate this so much, but I knew it was necessary. And it's literally, I say it a lot. Like, it's like dating. You just have to find the right person for you.
Right. And that's good you said that, because not every therapist is going to be the right fit.
No, not at all. I had to break up with a therapist.
Really?
It was like breaking up.
How was that? Like,
was
there
weird.
Tears involved?
No, not at all. I couldn't stand it.
Was it face to face?
It wasn't. I totally did like a
text him? Oh my gosh.
I was that dude.
Oh,
so
what happened?
There is some growth there.
Okay.
I wanted to do the fadeaway, where it's just like, I'm just not going to show up. I'm just not going to respond to anything.
To ghost your
I just wanted to ghost and just be that's it. But Felice was like, Joe, you got to contact her. And I was like, all right. So I sent the email, and it was literally like dating. It was because I didn't feel any bond with her at all.
Okay.
So I was literally like, so I'm going to be looking for another therapist. It's not really working out. And then I was like, it's not you. You're great.
It's me.
I'm sure you're great for all of your clients. So it's 100% me. I gave her the it's not you, it's me. I did.
I mean, and did she respond?
She did. She was like, it was almost like, I can change. It was a little weird. She was like, I'm sorry if I did a certain thing. Is there some way that I can make it more comfortable? If it doesn't work out with the other thing, you can always come back to me and we can make it work. Like, it was so weird. Man. It was so weird, but I didn't respond back to that at all.
Look at you, man. You casting the spell on the therapist.
But, and then what's funny is I had another therapist who I fell in love with. My therapist right after her, and she was everything. She was a big help in my recovery.
So let me ask you this. Do you find that speaking to a female therapist, have you spoken to
significantly? I couldn't speak to a male therapist.
Really? Why?
I don't know why. So I was brought up by all women.
Okay.
I never had a father figure in my life. Like, I had to teach myself how to shave. I teach myself how to pick up on chicks. I never had that. So I never felt really comfortable in talking to dudes. So I'm really comfortable in talking to women, and it's normal for me.
It's just interesting because, like, it just so happened that the people that I've talked to have happened to be women.
Can I tell you why
I've chosen that? But I'm wondering if that makes a difference.
Can I tell you why else?
What's that?
I'm a dude, right?
Yeah.
I want to sound like a bitch. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't want to be like,
you don't want to be sitting there to another guy.
I don't want to be sitting in front of another dude and just be like,
feeling.
And then I was lost. And I don't want to do that.
Right.
I pretend that I'm fine most of the day. There was this one beautiful thing that I saw. People with brain injuries. It was like, people with brain injuries aren't pretending to be sick. They're pretending to be okay. You know what I mean? So like when they're good, it's like, normally it's just like, I'm just pretending I'm good because this is too much for anybody. You know what I mean? So like, I don't want to do that in front of a dude. I just felt much more comfortable in front of a woman.
Right.
So my other therapist, one I fell in love with, she ghosted me.
Oh, okay. Karma.
Yeah,
It hits you
No,
right back.
seriously, it's the
man.
the yin and yang of life.
Did she move?
So I don't know. Like, it's all left. The place where I go, like, she just kind of, I don't know what happened, but I know the place, like, they like moved heaven and hell to like take care of me and make me feel more comfortable.
Right.
Because this was like not a normal thing. And then after that, I was like, I've been talking to like my other therapist. Like, it was funny because I love her now. She's been a tremendous help. But at the beginning, just like dating, it's like, yeah, you're cool, but you're not her.
You're not her.
So it was just weird.
Right.
And then, so on top of the PTSD and all the other like fucked up issues I have, I was like, now I have abandonment issues. but it's cool. That's what's amazing about therapy to me. You just work some stuff out.
Yeah.
Just talk about it. So you don't internalize, and you always kind of feel better. Like, even if you have to break down and you're just like whimpering and crying,
you learn stuff.
You do. Yeah, you learn stuff about yourself.
You truly learn stuff. And I tell people your mind is only programmed to go certain ways. Somebody else is going to take the same situation, same things you're going through, and they might have a whole different pathway that you couldn't see.
Right.
And it's not possible for you to see without that assistance.
Right.
And then once you get it, you can get on that path, and it's like night and day.
Dude, we're all one. We all need each other. You know what I mean?
Oh, of course.
Can I? We're bringing it back to nerd here. So whatever you do, don't do what Professor X did to Jean Grey. Don't do that,
man.
So that's the problem with just shoving this stuff down.
Right.
When it comes out, it's like the Phoenix, man. It'll destroy worlds.
Yes, and I hope everyone knows what you're talking about.
Yeah, nerds.
That Professor X.
So Professor X, what he did is, I'm ruining the Phoenix movie because it looks terrible, and you guys shouldn't go see that anyway.
Well, no, this isn't ruining the Phoenix movie. This is just literally, she was that powerful without the Phoenix.
She was. That's
right?
true.
So
she had it in her.
From day one, he meets her, and he's like, I gotta lobotomize this chick, pretty much. Like,
she's basically an Omega level mutant. So he kind of went in her mind. He's like, yeah, if she ever loses it, like, she's not going to hurt people. She's going to destroy the planet.
Right.
So he basically hid that part of her brain. Like, he just, that's not in there. Like, we're going to lock that up.
Take it out.
And he did that until he didn't.
Until she figured out he did it. And she's touched by the Phoenix, and that changes the game. That begs the question: is that ethical for him to have done a preemptive strike?
Right.
That? You haven't technically done anything.
She hasn't done anything
wrong.
yet. It's like going back. It's like, well, would you kill Hitler as a child? It's like, he hasn't done anything yet. Why don't we raise him and love him?
That's an interesting question.
You know
Everyone
what I mean?
always goes to that.
Yeah.
My first thought is, why can't we just, if we could go back to when Hitler was a kid, why can't we go to like when he's 22?
Take him out then.
When he's 20, I feel a little bit more comfortable.
Like when he's choking cats and stuff, like right around that.
Right. We don't have to take out baby Hitler,
Like we go back in time, like even with the Avengers. Like, let's go to the quantum realm. Let's go back to like young Thanos and be like, hey man, you know what we should do? We should learn how to take care of this planet and grow more resources. We should do that because you guys are gonna run out.
First off, wasn't it just so great how they connected the time travel?
Oh yeah.
The whole process, I was waiting on that. I was like, I get it. Randomness of the quantum realm. You can just jump out at different spots.
Just different spots in time.
And leave it to Tony to have to be the one to figure out.
When he hit it, he was like, Eureka! I was like, of course you did, because you're Iron Man. You are Iron Man.
Now, your thoughts, because I'm struggling with this.
Mm-hmm.
We've got half of the population.
Right.
Disappeared.
Yeah.
5 years. 5 years of moving on. 5 years of sorrow, mourning. Then they're back.
Yeah.
So are they taking into account, like, so now you've remarried?
So bugged out, right?
And I'm back. What happens? Maybe certain people have kids now.
Dude, so what's
there's different
really
dynamics.
Crazy about that is having a brain injury. I lost an entire month of my life that I'll never remember again. Well, I don't want to say never, because hopefully it'll come back. My doctor says like at some point it could. So I still have hope. The first year of my recovery, it's a little patchy. There's not like, there's big, huge chunks that I just don't remember. I'll see pictures and I'm like, I have no memory of that. You know what I mean? So like sometimes I feel that. Like I feel like I came back to like a parallel universe where Biff is running the world. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's bizarre. So like I understand that. That's why I think community is so important, because you need to talk to other people like you to help you get through these patches, you know? Like even talking to my friend Devin that I met at this at Brain Problems Play, like meeting her in person, she did an Insta story and she said, you know, one of those life-changing nights. And I was like, wow, that touched me. And I was like, wow, like we can really, not just me, we as a community, we just as a people, we have the power to affect people's lives. We do it a lot in a negative way, unintentionally, but we have the power to change people's lives for the better, which in turn is changing our life for the better.
Exactly.
Because you know how they say it, like it feels good to give gifts. It feels better to give than to receive.
Yes.
Sometimes
it's good to give and get.
Yeah.
Right.
But what's beautiful is I understand that now as an adult, where like I used to do it in a negative way, where I was like, I'm miserable, so I have to fix you to make myself feel better. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's a broken way of doing it. So like I'm miserable, so I'm forcing my will on you to make your life good and you happy, so I can live through your happy life. Like I was a passenger in other people's lives because my own life was miserable. Now I'm mentally healthy enough to be like, yeah, I want to help people because it's like I want to do that and it feels good.
Right.
Not because I have to.
And that makes you feel good.
So much. It's like little missing pieces. Like I didn't know how much I needed to be mentally healthy, number one.
Right.
And number two, I had no idea how much I really needed to help other people. Like it's
a good feeling, man.
It's so beautiful.
It's one of the best feelings, man. It's just and I don't know, just different ways of helping people, whether you're mentoring the young or you're just sharing your story and experience. Someone is like, hey, it really helped me musically for myself.
I think also not thinking people are going to take your spot. You know what I mean? Like even in the military where you're like, these young kids, I can't have these young kids be better than me.
Right.
I'm pushing myself harder. Well, maybe talk to the kids and be like, hey, man, I was right where you were.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So like you're going to get to this point at some point and this is how you're going to feel. You know what I mean? I think that'll change that stigma going on in the future.
Right. It's just opening doors and talking more. Having more of a dialogue about
communication, man. Things, like we need it. We need it as a people.
we need to talk more.
We do. And it's been so helpful to me to talk to other survivors. It's helpful to talk to you. Number one, you're a big nerd. Love that.
Man. Yeah, appreciate that.
Also, I appreciate you. Like it's awesome. It's awesome even having this conversation about the military and things that you've seen with people around you, sharing your story. It's been it's actually helpful to me because I have a certain amount of guilt that I have PTSD. I know it sounds weird.
Right.
I do. And I'm like, dude, the things that you've seen, the things that you've been through, things that you've witnessed, why am I complaining? I got lost.
Right.
So you have that guilt, but the reality is our trauma is our trauma, no matter what it is, you know, and we have to own it and we have to do our best to get past it. And we can't. So when I look at other people and I compare, I do that almost as like a motivation thing. Like, because I don't want to be, oh, woe is me.
Right.
I had a freak out last night.
I mean, it's as you know, may rest in peace. The late great Nip Hussle said, man, it's a marathon, and everybody is on a different lap in that race, right? So this person's experiences are theirs, and yours are your own. You have to own those, acknowledge those, and then you can move forward. And it's not a competition. No. I mean, it's never should be looked at in that light. I think, you know, some people do it. Some people do it. But to me, it's just that person's damaged a little bit more. Right. He's hurting a little bit more and needs a little bit more help. He's not as far on his journey as I am or someone else is that's kind of gotten a little bit more understanding.
Right. That's what I love about, you know, this my community in particular. It's if I succeed, we all succeed. If I see somebody else succeeding, I'm not, well, why are they? No, it's like, yes, you're doing that. That's amazing.
That's like it's hope. Like
I have to share that with other people. You know what I mean? It's like I wasn't able to do that, but they did. Yes, we can all do this. We can all aspire to do that. You know?
Definitely.
Are you a stroke or brain injury survivor looking for a community and support? Well, the NeuroNerds are here to help. Join our hashtag USORock Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/USORock to connect with other survivors like you.
Plus, read other inspirational brain injury survivor stories on Joe's blog at josorocks.com/USORock. And submit your stories there as well. We want to hear them.
And remember,
USORock.
Stop laughing at us.
I would say on the military side, I know it's a lot of veterans that feel as though maybe there wasn't as much support. And I know in the past, in previous years, the support has gotten better and better for veterans over the time, especially with mental health. The more I think there's an understanding of what's going on, it can now be more of a preemptive, like, okay, we can ensure these individuals are, screened better.
Right.
The resources are offered to them, upon their exit, as opposed to, a long time ago and years ago, how things were.
Yeah, they say, all right, bye.
Right.
Enjoy your life.
Vietnam veterans, some of my uncles and things like that, and the stories they would tell about,
So you come from a military family?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Uncles, father, both sides. Army guys, Marine Corps, Air Force. So we got a long lineage of service,
But the future is looking bright. It really is.
Yeah, definitely.
As terrible as it is, a lot of your family had to go through horrific things. You yourself had to go through some horrific things for the future, so they don't have to.
Right.
And I know that sounds, but what about me? Well, yeah. Let's figure that out now. We got to figure out how to help you now. What's going to work for you? That's why you got to find. You can't do it on your own. You got to talk to somebody. You got to figure out what's going to work for you. But there's a bigger picture, and I think what gets me by every day, especially days where I'm like, I can't do this anymore. What gets me by is perspective. Where you take a step back and you say, you know what? It's not just about me. It's bigger than me. There are other people out there that need this. I need this. I need to do this. I have a compulsion. I need to.
Right. No. And there's listeners that need this as well.
Absolutely.
Right?
So that's what I think about in those days. Is those days where I'm like, no. There are people that have reached out to me and said from literally across the world, say, thank you. And I'm like, oh, what? Oh, wow. I was doing this for my healing, but people are thanking me for putting this on so they don't feel alone. That's perspective. That's
exactly.
I have to keep on pushing, not just for me, for other people, and I want to be kind of a beacon of hope. And every single time I hear one of you guys reach out to me and that gives me hope, that keeps me going,
Exactly.
We're all in this together, just like this world.
Yes. this wonderful world we all cohabit.
This little blue marble we call Earth.
Yes. Which is a tiny speck in the big scheme of things.
Really, dude, that gives me anxiety.
Yeah, really?
It does. When you really
you gotta believe it though.
You really think that we're a speck of sand in this giant beach of the universe, it gives me anxiety.
Yes.
Because it's so much out there, so much we don't know.
That's the cool thing to me.
It is cool, but it still gives me anxiety.
I really gotta believe that there's other things, other beings.
There does.
Way more advanced.
Do you want to know why? Because I'm not that arrogant. I'm not that arrogant to live here in the States and be like, oh, anything overseas? Yeah, that stuff doesn't exist.
Exactly.
No. So yeah, we're here on Earth. There's this giant, never-ending universe out there. Yeah, we're the only ones.
Yeah, there's no. That's not possible.
Have you guys ever seen Justice League Unlimited?
Right.
Have you ever seen Crisis on Infinite Earths?
I mean, and that's probably where I would draw my line.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure about the multiverse.
The multiverse?
That's where I'm kind of like, I don't know about that one.
So if I like that a lot because it's in a parallel reality, we're sitting on opposite sides.
Right.
In a parallel reality, I'm a African American woman.
But it's the theories I don't get them sometimes because I'm like, well, don't certain actions cause a fraction off of a splinter, so you keep getting these never-ending splitters,
right?
Splinters whenever you make a decision.
That's what it is. It's literally never ending, ever.
That's weird.
It is.
That's weird.
I don't have the mental capacity to just try to figure it out, but I like the way it is. I also like the way we can create our own realities. If we're vibrating on the same, if we're on the same vibration, we can create beautiful things. Yes. Almost I talked about a little bit at Brain Problems when I was at the play. And Felice was talking about it, like she reached out to people and people were praying for me.
Right.
So those prayers are a certain vibration.
Exactly.
Right.
Got
So
it.
if we're all on the same vibration, we can create things. They created health for me because percentages say I shouldn't be here.
Right.
Really high percentages say I shouldn't be here. Not only that, the fact that I am here, I shouldn't be as functional as I am. Like I am like a percentage of a percentage of a percentage.
You're an anomaly.
I am. And that came from not just me being awesome. I like to think a big chunk of it is me being awesome.
Right.
But there were so many people praying out there for me. And I really believe
that
words and vibrations can change things. You know, have you ever seen, you ever do this thing? Like, I think it was like elementary school where you have a plant and there's one plant, you just water, give it some sun. That's it. The other plant, you do the exact same thing, same amount of water, same amount of sun, but you talk to it. You talk really nicely to it.
I think we like you played music to one.
Right.
One you didn't.
One like you just say really. It was. I don't remember really playing music, but you would say, "Hey, plant, how you doing today? You doing good? You doing great, man. You're beautiful. I can't wait to see you grow." You just talk to this plant. That plant grew significantly larger and stronger and was healthier than the other plant, even though they had the exact same amount of sun,
good vibes.
Exact same amount of water. There was something in that because it's a living being.
Exactly.
You know, it's weird. I don't know why that reminded me of The Happening, but it did. I like The Happening.
The Happening.
I didn't like that it was all right. Yeah, plants kill, but I kind of like that plants killed. Kind of makes sense. It's their place.
It's their place.
They're defending themselves.
It's their place, and we kind of just do what we want with them. No regard for.
Yeah, we do. When you rip a carrot out of the ground, it screams. I don't know if that's true.
It's probably true. It's probably true.
Thank you to our amazing community on Patreon for supporting this podcast.
You can support us too and get different perks and gifts depending on which Neuro Jedi tier you sign up for. For example, if you're on our Neuro Padawan $5 tier, then you're probably listening to this episode a day early before its public release.
Your support helps us grow and continue to create this podcast. Plus, a portion of the proceeds go to a different cause or individual in the brain injury survivor community each month. Sign up at patreon.com/the NeuroNerds. So comic-wise, what did you grow up reading?
Oh, man. I grew up on, DC, Marvel, Milestone /DC,
Dark
just
Horse.
Like everybody else. Dark Horse, Image. But growing up, it was probably more so DC, Marvel.
I mean, DC was
and Image because Spawn was really big.
Spawn's
So
amazing, man.
I'm
excited.
I was a Savage Dragon. I liked him too.
Savage Dragon. I'm not familiar with Savage Dragon.
Yeah, remember he was like the green guy. He was a police officer.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I am familiar with Savage Dragon. Spawn for me, I love Spawn. I love the character. We were talking earlier off mic about Spawn, the animated series on HBO, which is just
amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Hyper violent. Never seen
it.
You must watch it.
So
in animation.
This absolutely is not Spawn the movie with Michael J. White, which it holds a special place in my heart.
Yes.
It's terrible.
Yes.
But it was Spawn on the big screen.
Right.
Which I appreciated.
Right.
But it was such a muted PG version of one of the most hyper violent, most incredible characters in the history of comic books. Unique.
Very unique storyline. The action.
Mm-hmm.
I even think the way that Todd McFarlane drew the panels were
also the fact that
revolutionary.
He chose, a black military man.
Yeah.
African American military man.
I mean, it was cool, and especially for me at those times too, man. I'm like, I was heavy into, like I said, where are the black superheroes? And I was fortunate enough to be a young man when Milestone came about and introduced us to, Icon, Static, and yes, guys, it was Static. Then it became Static Shock.
Yeah.
DC
Static on the page,
brought them, but it's
Static Shock in the cartoons.
Right? All of those characters, and it was told from such a rich place. Mr. McDuffie, Mr. Cowan. These are guys who have wrote for Marvel in the past, like Deathlock and some of the Luke Cage series and stuff. And they just kind of opened my eyes to this whole new world. But Spawn, though, that just that was something else, man.
I'm sure it resonated with you too, being an African American man, also being a military man and growing up in a military area.
man, like he was just badass.
Dude, I love it. That
Like-
costume is super dope.
Like I think at the time too, you know, you're rivaling against like X-Men and Avengers.
Mhm.
You don't really see too much. And it's like a big event when you see, I think you remember when Magneto snatched out Wolverine's adamantium.
Oh yeah,
Okay. That's a big deal,
that is.
right? But in the Spine comic books, it's like people are getting brutally murdered. Bones crunching from chains.
Every
and,
third page,
like regular, you know, and I'm like, it's a special event for Marvel when you see somebody all bloody and messed up. No, not in Spine.
This is just
Not in
what this
Spine.
world is. What blew me away about the cartoon is the first episode, I think it was, where the guy shoots at Spawn. He's drenched in gasoline. And
Right.
he catches fire. I was like, oh, this is what this is, because I didn't read the
Yeah.
comics before then. I only
yeah.
watched I saw the series first.
Series first.
And
Okay.
I was like, oh my goodness. So then, like, when I started going back, I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. It was next level.
So are you
at
excited
the
about
time.
Jamie Foxx taking over the mantle? I don't know how I feel about it. I would actually prefer, I know Jamie Foxx is an incredible actor. I know that. I would prefer it be a nobody. I would prefer it be an up and coming.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like,
I-
it's so powerful, it's so big.
I don't, and there's no disrespect to Mr. Fox. I think he's an incredible actor. I just kind of think that he's a little past playing Spawn at this point.
Yeah. At least 8 to 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it probably should have been a younger guy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of new, younger, talented guys out there that probably could have fulfilled the role, but I don't think it's going to mind or matter as much
Mhm.
because it's being told through the eyes of Twitch. If it was being,
it's not as
Right.
that's
that's what I think saves this
I
performance.
was really excited, and then
Right.
I was like, wait, this is like a Twitch heavy story. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah,
And it's gonna be done by McFarlane himself.
Right.
So it's gonna be good.
it's gonna be good.
I just
wondering-
don't know what kind of good.
Yeah,
I don't know if
is
it's
it
gonna be
what
like,
we were expecting.
yeah, I don't know if it's
Yeah.
gonna be good, like, wow, that was amazing, or wow, that really was on the verge of being something special. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like an
I mean, it's
unfinished idea.
interesting. It's interesting to give it to us through the eyes of one of the detectives, right?
Yeah, why not?
I mean, that's different from what DC and Marvel is doing. For
Right.
us.
And I think
So
Twitch
it
should
might
be
work.
I think Twitch should be William H. Macy.
You know what?
Right?
That would work.
You know what I mean?
That would
even
be
though he's a
very
little bit
casting.
older.
But I mean, you're a detective.
Yeah.
So that
He's a little bit
works.
older. He'd
You
be
know,
that dude.
He wasn't that young, and he's kind of in that age
Yeah,
range in the comics.
William H. is really old.
Yeah, he is. Well, you know what? They got him looking younger on Shameless. Man.
Yeah, I mean, he's
Yeah.
literally kind of he looked like an old man when he was 30.
Yeah,
He's got a case of Caucasian. You know what I mean?
he does, but he looks like Twitch though.
He
I
does.
can see him.
He
I
does.
can see him playing.
Little tiny round glasses. I think he'd be dope as hell. This April
and May.
our Patreon donation spotlight is brain aneurysm survivor Amelia Clark's new nonprofit, sameu.org.
Their mission is to create immediate post-acute rehabilitation for young adults who have suffered a brain injury or stroke. A portion of our Patreon proceeds will go towards this amazing nonprofit.
Sign up to support us at patreon.com/the NeuroNerds. Hashtag the NeuroNerds give back.
So let me ask you this though. So Endgame,
Right.
You said that you feel like all the characters
Mhm.
have PTSD.
Every single one.
Every one of them.
Every single one.
Do you think you think the Hulk is suffering from PTSD?
Man, unless they
He looked
figured,
like he had his shit together,
I
right?
think so. Hulk number one, once he became more and more coherent,
Okay.
right? So you know what you're doing. I'm ripping Chitauri's head off with my mouth.
Right.
I'm doing that. Like, he knows that that's happening. So he's fully aware of all the horrific things that he does. That in and of itself is traumatic. But he
Yes.
could, in that form, probably really enjoy that. The Hulk is he's an agent of destruction.
Yes.
We can comfortably say, right?
Yes.
He's the destructor. Not once has he ever been pushed. Maybe when the Chitauri, all of them aimed their guns at him and he was bleeding a little bit. It's like, oh man, they're coming at me. When Thanos hit him with that combo, and then when Thanos hit him with the Ultimate Warrior body slam, when he did that, I think that was it. We were talking earlier, I really think he hit him so hard, the Hulk decided to study. He's like, I regret every life decision until this point.
I mean, I just kind of feel like as I look at that movie, I'm like, everybody was a little sad, except for him. He looked like he was
like,
thriving.
hey!
He was taking selfies,
you know what
autographs.
I would think even though there are soldiers that have seen horrific things, have done horrific things, but if they had an opportunity from just to get out of there like that, I'm no longer doing this. And not only that, but now you're like a big YouTube star and you get to travel the world. You get to meet all these people and they love you. I think a lot of people would have that immediate switch. Clearly at home, it's a different story.
I mean, and the alternative is, is that or catch Thanos' hand. So I would take I would take that YouTube role every time.
He took that hit to the neck and he was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
I want people to realize that like that was literally the last time you saw the Hulk throw hands.
Yeah. Wilder last night. Wait, what was the cat's name? Brazil?
Yeah.
He hit him so hard, I would not be surprised if Brazil was a trainer next month. He hit him so hard that I'm sure he's rethinking every life decision.
Everything. He's rethinking.
He might be like Hulk. He might be like a influencer.
I mean,
next time we see him.
Like I'm telling you, man, if you really, when you go back and you look at this stuff again, you're gonna be like, the Hulk swung on Thanos, and I have not seen. You don't see him for another movie and a half fight another person.
That
he don't fight anybody else, not even in the battle scene. When Thanos and them show up, he's holding the building up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's
and to be honest, he probably could have laid it down on something.
He probably could.
But he was like, you know what? I'm good here.
He probably could have. I don't even. Was he in the running scene at everybody?
I don't think he was.
Was he there with the sling? I don't know. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, Thanos put hands on the Hulk, and he did not show up again.
I really think he put on the
manner.
I think he put on the gauntlet because he was like, I need this.
Right. This is my redemption.
This. Not like, no, you can't handle it. Not that.
Right.
I need this so you can't handle it. Even if you can,
right.
You can't.
Thor probably could have wore it.
For sure. He's Thor.
He could have wore it.
He's a god.
But he was like, no, I need to do this. This is my get back from getting boxed out by Thanos.
I need this because it's going to protect me. I don't want to get hit in the neck again.
Man. I mean, I
was a fan of Endgame. I really was. But I really do believe every single superhero character, it's trauma, man. Like, I think the stigma of trauma is it's military, it's war. It's not. It's everything.
What is that new? Is that like a new Netflix show that's like coming out, or if it's supposed to be like superheroes like all the time, like even when they're having bad days and everything?
Oh, that's a great concept. I don't know.
Yeah,
I love
think
that,
it's exactly like that. Where and even like a couple of them go like rogue at times. They just get fed up. It's almost what you're talking about, because you're right. If you really think about it, the big scheme of things, as a superhero is like, they should go mad.
That's why Superman, like, he's weird, but that's what makes Superman Superman. At any moment, he could just be like, yeah, screw it, I'm gonna run this world. Like in Injustice.
Yes.
Yes. He could just go, he could be like, enough of this. It's too hard to be nice.
It's too much.
I'm ruling with an iron fist. But that's why I love Batman, because no matter what, Batman's like, no, you don't kill. Killing's easy.
I don't like Batman.
I love Batman.
I mean, I like Batman, but I'll tell you why I don't like Batman. I don't like Batman because Batman literally is responsible for the deaths of millions of people.
Because all he had to do,
all he does,
take out one guy.
How many times are you going to catch the same guys and put them in the same asylum that obviously holds no one?
Definition of insanity, doing the exact same thing. So for a different result.
I kind of feel like if I'm like a regular citizen of Gotham and the Joker killed my parents, I'm looking at Batman. I'm looking at you, bro. Like,
you know what should be done? You take all of the Batman's Rogues Gallery, send them to Metropolis. All right, Superman, let's see what you can do.
I mean, do you know what? I think there's like a similar, here's my nerdum again. Like, Batman was gone somewhere. Wherever Batman was at, I can't recall, but like Superman had to stand in for him. And so he kind of dressed up as Batman for a little while.
Oh, wow.
You had the Dick Grayson Nightwing.
Oh, take over his Batman.
He would kind of help him out and keep him straight. So he's filled in for Bruce a few times and had to fight.
I'm sure Superman was in Gotham just saying, God dang, what is going on in this city?
Yeah, I mean,
where are the cops?
Where are the cops, right? It's like Oakland and San Francisco.
No,
you know what I mean? That's like Metropolis, Gotham.
Seriously, like I'm pretty sure Gotham is like Crenshaw in the 90s. You know?
Yeah, Gotham has got to be bad, man. But it makes sense.
It does. It
makes
absolutely
sense
does.
because you know what the worst case scenario, I'm gonna just get caught and do my bid.
Right. I'm gonna go to this place and I'm out. You know, I'm right back to where I want to be.
Go to Metropolis and fuck with the guy. You got to have a green rock to stop. Where do you get that from?
That's true.
You know,
that's true. There wasn't.
I don't have any.
there wasn't the dark web back then.
Right. Yeah. It's like
there wasn't Amazon. You couldn't get in 2 days.
I can get a hold of some uranium before I get a hold of kryptonite. You know, to fuck with Superman. So where do you get that? I don't know.
If you enjoy listening to this podcast, please consider leaving us a 5-star review on the Apple Podcast app. Your reviews help us grow and reach more listeners like you.
Find us by searching for the NeuroNerds on the Apple Podcast app today. So Tripp, man, this has been awesome. I want to thank you for being here. Hey, you got to come back on. You got to meet my nerdy co-host.
Of course.
And
yeah, man. I was going to say, I didn't know she was going to be here now because I knew she was out jet setting.
Yeah, being amazing.
And just doing all kind of crazy things, man, in the desert and stuff, like with dancing and stuff. I was like, what?
She's
man?
amazing,
she's living
isn't
it up,
she?
man.
No, she's incredible. She's also an ass kicker, man. Like she did like bodyguard training.
Bodyguard training on this trip?
No,
or just in general.
Just in general. She's also a black belt in Taekwondo.
Sweet.
Yeah. So when I joke, but this isn't a joke. I'm physically afraid of my tiny co-host.
Yeah.
Like she's
I have a black belt in like U.S. Yoshikai karate. Shout out to U.S. Yoshikai. You said Taekwondo. I'm gonna poke at her a little bit.
Oh man, it's gonna be a battle.
You know,
insert Lauren kick noise.
The Taekwondo folks, you know, they do a lot of fancy kicks.
Yeah, no,
it's a lot of fancy kicks.
I'll say this: I think Lauren could murder me in several different ways with several different objects in this room.
That used to be our little dig when we'd be at the competitions and we'd be like, you do a lot of fancy kicks. While you're kicking, we'll be subduing you. Karate.
She's kind of like Jason Bourne. I'm like she could take a book and murder somebody.
I believe it though.
She could take
I believe it. She's like one of the sweetest people I've met, man.
She's also made of stone, man. She has like the density of a dying star.
What?
She is so like she's just dense.
Well, she dances, man.
She does.
That shit, I don't know if people know. Like that shit is like a workout plus some.
She's made
dance
of
on the
muscle.
regular.
When we saw whatever movie we saw, one of the Avengers movies, and she grabbed my arm and she was because of Bucky. Oh, it was Infinity War. When we saw that,
when Bucky
she was just like, and she grabbed my arm. I'm a grown man, Tripp. I'm a grown man. I
felt the squeeze.
6'2".
Felt the squeeze.
200 pounds. Grown man. I was almost in tears. She's so strong. But if you think about it, she has to like pull herself up on this pole and do these amazing things.
That's what I'm saying, man. When I saw like it's hard. That's incredibly difficult to extend your body.
She's superhero, man. She's
sideways.
You
know what kind of core strength you gotta have for that shit?
She's got all of it.
That's
why I tell everybody
crazy.
all the time. I'm stroke pool because I stroke and love Deadpool. She's Bat Widow. She really is. She's like Batman and Black Widow all combined.
Bat Widow.
You know, I really think she's kind of. I think she's overseas, like running some missions.
She's running missions.
Yeah, she's doing like some special ops stuff.
She could be, man.
I'm not buying this. Well, I'm going for a photo shoot, a little vacation. No. I'm not buying this stuff. There's something going on?
Yeah, just
oil prices right now are going to drop for some reason.
Hey,
and thank you, Lauren.
Thank you.
Thanks to our sponsor, Avid Technology, for providing us with the tools, or should I say, pro tools, to record, edit, and mix our podcast and get our message out clearly to the world.
Try Avid first to start recording today for free at avid.com/pro-tools.
Yay. So Tripp, seriously, I really appreciate you coming in and sharing your nerdom. I love that.
Yeah, man.
I also appreciate you sharing some of the personal stuff about what it is to be in the military, like some of the stuff that you guys go through. Yeah. And also just being on board with, we need to talk, man. Like we just need to talk it out.
Oh, of course, man.
You know, it's.
Thank you guys for having me, man. Anytime.
It's been a beautiful thing. And I can't appreciate you more. Also, go see Spawn. And actually in the comments or just reach out, who would you fan cast as Spawn?
Oh,
That's good.
That is good.
That's good. I want to hear some
good.
ideas, and I don't want to hear what's his name?
No Michael B. Jordan.
No Michael B. Jordan. No.
Michael B. Jordan.
No, hit us with like some
somebody
unknown dude
who's like not. Yeah, I was gonna say somebody who is not
the next
in
Michael
the
B. Jordan.
MCU period.
Yeah, the next Michael B. Jordan
or DC's crash of a universe, whatever they call that thing over there they're doing.
Oh, that dumpster fire?
That whole I don't know.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. just somebody new. Like that would be great to see. New. If you could Dreamcast.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for. Not like the Dreamcast video game. We're looking for Dreamcasting Spawn. So Tripp, man, we really appreciate you. Check out Tripp's music. We're gonna send leave links in the bio for all this stuff. Man. One of the dopest artists out there. So let's be honest.
Yeah, we got some new stuff coming, man. A little bit later this year, we've been working and just trying to get everything in order, waiting for the right time. But maybe after the summer. Maybe after the summer.
I'll say this. Summer's a perfect time because that's going to be fire. Boom. Come on. Boom. As always, in NeuroNerds, we are here to help. You can follow me at JosoRocks everywhere. Follow Lauren at Lauren L. Manzano on Instagram. Follow us at the NeuroNerds everywhere. Tripp, my friend, I really appreciate your service. I appreciate you as a person, as a nerd. I appreciate you for doing this.
Hey, my pleasure. Thank you for your support. Man, hey, man, I love being a nerd. I love being a blurred black nerd.
Yeah.
I like to call myself a hood nerd. I'm still, the same dude from the same spot. And, I just like what I like, man. And nobody should be afraid to like what you like and do what you do. Be yourself, man.
Damn right. And on that incredible, beautiful note, these NeuroNerds are out.
Out.
Fucking beautiful, man.
Deserve it.